Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. Now it's time to do that hunting trip with Brian. We didn't follow the plan we thought we were going to, but here's the hunt. Brian called me a few minutes ago and said that he just got hammered with the worst hail he's seen. So I'm kind of close to where he's at and I can't see the mountains. The sky's dark blue. So I'm trying to get a little closer to the dark blue and then get into a gas station with an overhead cover because I need to get gas anyway. Probably go ahead and find one and then just sit there a little while and hopefully let that storm pass, because if baby snowflake were to get hammered with hail, I'd probably just cry. I'm sitting at the gas station. Although it looks dark, it's not. It's just extremely storm cloudy. But it is clearing up back that way, so we may be past the hail. Brian just texted me and said this storm has really messed up traffic, and that's going to mess up our drive out to where we're going. Well, the storm's passed over, and now we got pretty much clear skies out that way. Well, we are stopped in traffic again. Since I-70 was a parking lot, I got off. Now I'm just in another type of parking lot. And I can see where Brian lives on the side of this hill. And it's been 12 minutes since I hit this traffic. I don't think we've gone more than a couple hundred yards. So today is going to be about zero productive because of traffic. This is some more of that getting away from it all traffic on Friday, heading out of the Denver area. Getting away from it all. I'd pull up the map and find another back road that's on there, but I'm not getting any service down here. So I can't even text Brian. I can't pull up the maps. And I think I am getting ready to do a U-turn. I've had about enough of this. I'd rather take my chances. Well, I've linked up with Brian and Randy finally. Eventually, they just came down the hill from Brian's house, and I turned around and we linked up. And now we're going up over a mountain pass. I believe it's over Mount Evans. Us and a whole bunch of other people. So at least we're moving. Apparently the traffic on I-70 and 40 is caused by a rock slide blocking I-70 from that nasty hailstorm Brian said hit his house. Brian's got a new camper shell and some new skins on this beast. We're out and hiking up the mountain before light. I take a few short clips as I get enough light. It's deadfall after deadfall. Eventually we got this not so good sounding bugle coming from across the draw. And after a while we decided that let's go over there. Maybe it's a hunter, maybe it's a bull, but let's just go find out. See what we see. Turns out it's not just one, but two bulls up there. I'm going in high, Brian's going in kind of low, and we're hoping that if he circles me, he runs right into Brian. If he tries to circle Brian up high, he runs into me. They're out about 70 yards. One closes the gap to about 60. either saw us or winded us and took off. But that was definitely a lot of fun that early in the morning. Well, we got to the spot we wanted to camp, and there was already somebody right there, like right on the spot we were going to pitch a tent. So we resupplied our water. It's not the fastest process, but sometimes you got nothing but time. It's finally stopped raining. And where we were heading to just didn't look very promising at all. So we're going to hang out on this kind of opening that had some sign in it. It's kind of our best guess at this point. This morning, we left the spot we were camping in because it seemed like we kind of burned it out. We had some good action yesterday, a couple of close encounters with bulls, but there was no more bugling throughout the night, no bugling this morning, and nothing would answer us. So we packed up and headed back. And what's been making the hike terrible, both when we came in and when we left, is all this deadfall. It's more than it was last year, and there's a lot of dead trees standing, so it's not going to get any better with time. So then we made it back to the truck. Tell you what, this Dodge has never looked so good. And got stuck in there for a little while with some rain. And then we left. We thought we were in the clear, and it obviously poured down on us. We are soaked right now. Soaked. So we're not sure what we're going to do about that. Sun's cracking out every once in a while, so that's good. So that's where we stand right now. We had some good interaction, like I said yesterday, with the bulls. They're just not coming in aggressive. They'll talk a little bit back to you once in a while. They're not come running in by any means. They seem to shy away from a cow call too. This morning we didn't get up that early. In fact, we didn't get up early at all. So we got up at 5:30, and my shoes were completely soaking wet last night. And at 5:30, my shoestrings were frozen, and most of my shoe was frozen. Frozen. We didn't get up, but we just kind of listened a while, didn't hear anything. By 9 o'clock, my socks that I had left outside as well were still frozen. That's how cold it got last night up here. Wasn't quite expecting that. And I had a couple of thin layers on to sleep in. If it wasn't for that, I would be hurting. Pine squirrel. So if it was another degree or two colder, I'd be in trouble. Yesterday afternoon and evening we got pretty wet hunting. Then we got back to the truck just before the real stuff came in. Randy had to take off last night. And so this morning Brian and I had a casual morning. We made coffee in the back of the truck.
Safety first. Lending a hand where needed.
Now we're going to move places and co-locate with Baby Snowflake. But before then, we need to get some breakfast at a local place and get our stuff dried off before we head out for an afternoon and evening hunt. We kind of look like a bunch of hobos with our stuff strewn out, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So last night we were shivering and now we're sweating our butt off. But look at these views. Brian's gonna set up on this water hole and I'm gonna go to the other one. And we're elk hunting. That's elk, bull, cow, legal elk. The wind keeps shifting, so I had to relocate to a lesser of two evils type spot. I was right over there. Seems like if I'm over where I am now, even if the wind shifts the way it has been, I'll still be okay. I kind of give up this ridge behind me, but I gained that draw by switching over here, and sometimes the wind was going straight toward the pond. No. Shoe? We're trying to race the clock to get to the local restaurant before it closes. Well, obviously we didn't see anything last night, and the restaurant was out of business, so we didn't get that either. But on the upside, Randy's back in town.
I'm gonna get real dramatic with this one.
That one had a lot of drama and flair to it. Do you think something would be on it?
I don't think the elk like that's one sassy bull elk. They don't want to talk to me.
Well, we got one to finally answer. So we're heading in that direction. We're not exactly sure where it came from, though. Alright, so that bull only bugled the one time. Led us kind of on a goose chase. Never regained contact. So we are going to pick up stakes and completely relocate to a different unit. The sign on the ground isn't that good either, so pretty sure there's just not a whole lot of stuff going on here. We really need to find one that wants to play. I'm trying to do a better job updating as we go so I don't have to voice over later or narrate later. A lot of bear sign up where we're at, though. It's surprising we haven't seen one. We're a little tired. The upside is there's no deadfall around here. Well, we didn't glass up any elk. A lot of elk sign, but it was all really old, probably from the winter. But we did glass up two different sets of bears. The first bear had one cub, maybe two with it, but the second bear definitely had two with it, and that second bear, she was big, and she came within 240 yards of us. I mean, she wasn't coming toward us, obviously, but she was kind of, we were almost in her way. And the first bear was a real beautiful cinnamon bear. Really had the colorings of a grizzly bear. Not saying a grizzly, just saying it's colored like one. Real beautiful cinnamon bear. Real beautiful. So now we're going to move on and go to another spot. Another climb. So I'm not really sure whose idea it was to come up here. Nobody will fess up to having the idea because we're not seeing or hearing any elk. The view is great, but I wouldn't say the hike was worth it because that was nasty. Well, last night we saw no elk, heard no elk, but we did get to see a black bear. And then when we were coming down the really steep part of the hill, which was really steep going up, it was treacherous going down, Brian fell on his bow hard enough to break 2 arrows. So this morning when we got up, we did some glassing and we still haven't seen any elk over here. Then we were able to get his bow back on. It was a little off after the fall. Got the bow back on. So now we are going to relocate to the top of the hill and start doing just cold calling up there, see if we can get anything interested. Currently we're running into town. We're going to grab some breakfast. Kind of a lazy morning, but we're definitely going to be back after it the rest of the day. Get another few miles on us.
Few or 15.
Well, I haven't been able to do much updating because it's very windy out. But we drove up the mountain, long, bumpy road. Then we went in the woods, hiked a good while. We did a whole bunch of calling. Nothing. 0. And we found a whole bunch more deadfall. Well, we are now in deadfall hell.
Can't get away from it. Cannot get away.
So we are moving spots. Gonna go a few miles down the road and repeat. So we walked about 2.4 miles on that loop, and we're gonna do it again down further. Now we're over 40 miles on this trip of walking, and we're feeling it. We are currently sitting at 11,070 feet above sea level.
100.
170. Where are we at?
11,170.
11,170 above sea level. We're up here, call, nothing. And the sign on the ground says,
Old.
hadn't been here, anything here in a while. Except maybe a mule deer buck. It's a little after 4 o'clock or 1600 on Wednesday. And we're about running on fumes.
Yeah. I'd say we're a little bit past fumes.
Yeah.
My feet are the worst. They're beyond fumes.
Right now we're kind of pushing the bumper of the car to the gas station.
Gone 43 miles since
Saturday. So that's 5 days, 43 miles. It's an average of 8+ a day.
8+ miles a day.
In the mountains.
Over deadfall. But
Deadfall.
oh my god. Just non-stop deadfall. But at least we saw 2 elk.
We did see 2 elk. We haven't seen any elk since Saturday.
My arrows haven't seen any elk, and that's the problem.
We're going to sulk here a few minutes and then probably go back to the truck. It's going to take us an hour to drive off this mountain back down to Baby Snowflake.
Looks so clean from a distance.
Well, that's the end of that trip, but it's not the end of the season. So I hope you stick around. Thanks for watching.